It's my pleasure to be here at TSAM. So it's been an eye-opener for me. It's been fascinating to see the different speakers talking about the issues that they're perceiving and they're experiencing in their different aspects of asset management. So that's been an eye-opener, and I've had a fascinating chat with lots of people in between the sessions as well. So I think future technology is primed to cause all sorts of disruption. The software is becoming more capable. We're able to automate more things, not just tasks which are routine, but tasks which involve various amounts of understanding, creativity, empathy, intuition, pattern matching. All of that is in principle available to be deployed into new roles. So as a result, many people's tasks will be changed. It's going to be cheaper and more cost effective, in many cases higher quality output for managers to use software to do tasks rather than use humans to do these tasks. That's a big disruption. So the future used to be something that might happen to your grandchildren, or it might happen on Star Trek in the 23rd century. But now, change is happening much more rapidly. There are more and more people involved in creating more technology all the time. There are more people who are trained in the skills of being an entrepreneur. There are more people who've got design skills, system integration skills, and so the pace of change has accelerated. And probably there's going to be more change in the next 10 years than in the last 20 years, and that's already been astonishing if you look at what's happened with computers and networks and smartphones and so forth. So as a result of all of that, we're going to have to adapt many aspects of our working life. It's not going to be a case of trying to do better than automation, better than software, better than robots. That's a kind of a losing task. The key competitive advantage is going to be which companies can work with human intelligence alongside software intelligence. It's called hybrid intelligence. How can we divide the tasks up so that the automatic parts can be as comprehensive and as wide-ranging as possible, and then can dovetail in at the right moments to the parts where humans can still add some unique sparkle, some unique perspective. And that unique sparkle and perspective, by the way, is going to be changing. It's not going to be static, and so the recipe for the best cooperation between human and computers in 2 years' time is probably going to be different from the best recipe in 10 years' time. And the only way that companies can thrive in this is if they can practice agility. Being stuck in your ways, saying here are the best time-honored processes, that's not going to cut it anymore. Companies need to be able to throw away the successes of the past in order to remain relevant to the challenges of the near future. So smartphones have become people's primary interface to the online world. It used to be that the online world was something you got from a fixed terminal, and you could occasionally get glimpses of it through the small screen of a smartphone. But the applications have got better, the smartphones themselves got better, bigger screens, and so most people are very comfortable doing emails and lots of other aspects of applications online through smartphones. But this is not a fixed thing. There's a better interface ahead. It's an interface that doesn't involve you bending over and looking at your smartphone. It's an interface that's going to be in your visual field all the time. It's called smart glasses, and it's going to be a combination of what we see from the actual reality augmented with other information put on top of it. So that as I'm talking to you now, I can have little bubbles appearing just reminding me who you are. If I look around the room, I can see other reminders of the particular reasons I might want to talk to people. As I go out of the building, I can see reminders in my visual field as to places I might want to visit, things that I might want to buy. So this is augmented reality delivered through smart glasses. Today, an important mantra for people delivering services is think mobile first. Don't think of designing something for a big screen and then squashing it down to mobile as a second-rate experience. And that's a good principle for today, but within perhaps 5, certainly 10 years, the new design mantra is going to be think glasses first, because more and more people are going to be wearing glasses. And I know that strikes people as a bit of a surprise, because we look at the first generation of smart glasses and they're typically heavy, they're unattractive. The phrase is that girls don't make passes at boys who wear Google glasses or something like that. But you know what? They're going to become more and more fashionable, more and more effective, and we're going to get used to them, and they're going to be part of everyday life. And as a result, services will need to be delivered to these devices. Well, one of the hazards of wearable technology is the fact that in principle there are cameras associated which may be filming and recording all the time. And today it's reasonably obvious when somebody takes a camera out of their pocket and films. Occasionally people are sneaky and have got a hidden camera, but it's not that common. But once we become used to people having glasses, we're going to lose track of the fact that we're going to be recorded much, much more often. So there's that aspect to it. I should also mention the pervasiveness of drones. As cameras become cheaper, as drones become cheaper and more miniature, we're going to be recorded more and more, potentially against our knowledge and against our will. So that poses one big challenge. What's being said, what's being communicated. So my first takeaway from TSAM Europe is that there's a lot of disruption ready to happen. There are still many people who are thinking about the problems of the present day and the problems of incremental business, and I haven't seen enough people focused on the more disruptive possibilities of doing things radically cheaper with different technology. Now maybe that's because they're not quite sure when this radically improved technology is going to come around. And maybe they're not quite sure when this radically improved technology is going to be available, but I do believe that there will be new companies coming in, possibly companies we've never heard of, doing to the finance industry similar things to what, for example, Uber is doing to the taxi industry. Uber's not an old company. Uber's less than 8 years old, and it's already the most important transport company in the world, even though it owns no taxis of its own. Another example would be Airbnb, which in some ways is the most important accommodation company in the world, but it doesn't own any hotels of its own, yet it's valued more highly than any of the hotel chains like Hilton or Marriott. In the same way, it could be another brand new company or relatively new company that springs in, that isn't encumbered by lots of culture and history, that isn't sure it knows what needs to be done because it's always been done that way. Instead, they'll grab new technology. The established companies may say, well, this isn't very good, it's not very good quality, we're not going to do this yet. But you know what? It might well be good enough for many clients, and there is therefore a big potential for disruption ahead. I know you asked for 3. I think that's one big takeaway which I'd like just to underline as something that should happen.
Many thanks for joining us, David.
You're welcome, Jonathan.